The airport buzzed. A low hum of activity filled the air. I clutched my boarding pass, a paper lifeline in the chaos. My gate was a crowded island, exhausted travelers slumped in seats. I found an empty one and sank down, grateful. My flight to London was about to board. This was it, the trip I had saved for, dreamed of for years. The man appeared as if from nowhere. He stood before me, tall and imposing in a dark suit. He had a kind face, though, and a gentle smile. "Excuse me," he began, his voice a low rumble. "I wonder if you might be willing to switch seats?" He gestured toward the plane, already filling up. I must have looked confused. Why would he want my economy seat? He seemed like he belonged in first class. He chuckled softly, reading my mind. "My wife and son are a few rows up," he explained. "I'd love to be closer to them." Then came the kicker. "I'd be happy to give you $150 for the swap." My mind whirred. $150 for a simple seat change. It seemed unreal. The offer was tempting, no doubt. $150 could buy a lot of London souvenirs. I thought about the long flight ahead. Did it really matter where I sat? A wave of exhaustion washed over me. "Sure," I heard myself say. "I'll switch." The man beamed, relief flooding his features. Thank you so much," he said, pressing the crisp bills into my hand. "This means more to me than you know." He hurried off toward his family, leaving me with a strange mix of curiosity and anticipation. I found my new seat, a window seat near the back. My seatmate was already there, an older woman with a shock of white hair and eyes that sparkled with intelligence. She smiled warmly. "Hello, dear," she said. "I see you've met Henry." Her name was Eleanor. And as it turned out, she was a retired history professor. Henry, the man in the suit, was her son-in-law. She had been visiting her daughter and grandson in New York, and Henry, ever the thoughtful soul, had paid for her to fly back home to London in comfort. Eleanor was a natural storyteller. As the plane climbed above the clouds, she regaled me with tales of her life. She spoke of her childhood in wartime London, her love of literature, and her travels around the world. Her voice, though soft, held the wisdom of 1,000 lived lives. I listened, captivated, as the hours melted away. I learned about her late husband, a renowned architect, and her 2 children, both doctors working in Africa. She spoke of her passions, her regrets, and the things she had learned along the way. By the time we landed in London, I felt like I had known Eleanor my entire life. We had shared something special, a connection forged in the unlikeliest of places. As we parted ways at baggage claim, she took my hand in hers. "Remember, dear," she said, her eyes twinkling, "sometimes the smallest decisions lead to the biggest adventures," and she was right. That $150 seat swap had brought me far more than just a few souvenirs. It had given me a glimpse into another soul, a reminder that life is full of surprises, and that sometimes the greatest journeys are the ones we never planned on taking. As I stepped out into the bustling arrivals hall, a sense of wonder washed over me. London awaited, a city full of possibilities, and I, armed with Eleanor's words and a heart full of gratitude, was ready to embrace it all.